What's up, everybody? We back.
Hello, season 2.
Season 2 of the Art of Hustle podcast. We got the video going. Turned to little professionals, kind of.
Kind of. Yeah, our little office.
Little office. We got a little studio.
Yeah.
I need to get little sciences, like something about something.
Don't push it.
About something. Get some decor up in here. Y'all see I got the greenery above the head, so you know.
I'm glad that tree is finally getting used.
Yeah. Had a position behind my chair, you know, like good stuff.
Yeah. Looks good.
Season 2, talk to us. What are we talking about? What are we doing?
Health and wellness. I think is going to be the topic of season 2. What it looks like in our lives, what it looks like in other people's lives, the easy, the hard, all of it.
Absolutely. I'm excited for this one because it's our passion. Growing up, being athletes, and now owning a gym and raising healthy kids, trying to raise healthy kids,
Yeah.
and just the mindfulness of it.
Yeah. No, it's integrated into every aspect of our life, which I'm grateful for.
Absolutely. I think it's just for this first episode of season 2, we should talk about sobriety and the decision to remove alcohol from our lives. I think that's probably been the latest health and wellness progression.
Yeah.
In our life.
Yeah. Let's kick it off. At what age do you remember having your first sip of alcohol?
I feel like I was like junior high-ish. I don't know. I remember like my parents like Arbor Mist, and it was just like kind of fruity wine type thing.
Yep.
And so like I snuck a sip one day, and I was like, "Oh, this is terrible." What about you?
Fireball was my first like sip of alcohol, and I think I was in college. Definitely. I didn't do anything in high school. I was what you would call quote unquote a goody good.
Yeah.
But got to college, older brother, got to go to some parties, and it was fun. I have to say that I kind of did enjoy my first sip of alcohol.
Did you?
Yeah, that's my problem.
You enjoy the taste of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like by that time, kind of that was with me. Like, I didn't drink in high school at all. And I got to college, and that's when I started experimenting a little bit with drinking.
Yeah.
So I feel like by the time you came around, like, I had my little cocktails on point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were pretty good. Fireball and apple juice.
Yeah.
Shout out to Portland State drinking days. That sounds terrible.
Oh, yeah. I don't really want to ever relive.
Yeah. Let's talk about why we decided to stop drinking. I think it's important to understand, like, you know, college was a wild time of drinking. NFL had a little bit of partying.
A little bit?
It had some partying.
A lot of it.
Did it?
Yeah.
It was some fun times.
It was. But a lot of alcohol.
A lot of alcohol. A lot of travel. A lot of eating. A lot of drinking.
Yeah.
A lot of coping
Yeah.
with alcohol for different stressful scenarios, and just having that lack of understanding of alcohol and just using it as a, you know, something that just numbed feelings.
So talk to us. Why did you stop drinking?
You know, I've been curious about stopping drinking for a while, and I tried before to cut it out, and I limited it very well, and I kind of started drinking again and just added back into my routine. So I was talking to a client, and you know, he's a 60-something-year-old gentleman, and he drank one night, fell off the toilet, and knocked himself unconscious, and it was just a bad situation. And he came to me, he was like, "I'm done. Like, there's no more drinking." And I've learned from my clients of what they've experienced, what they've done. And I felt like this was something that I could take and apply to my life and just look at alcohol in a different lens. So that's kind of got me to the point of deciding to stop and becoming curious.
Yeah. I remember you came, I was sitting outside, you opened up the sliding door and you told me you're going to stop. And you had told me that a couple of times before. So I took it lightly, I would say. And then I like turned around and looked at you And the look that I saw in your face, I was like, oh, damn, I think he's serious. And you said, you should do this with me. And then you turn around and left. And I just remember sitting there being like, there is no way. There's legit no way that I can give up alcohol. I love alcohol.
And I knew it would take you a minute to process. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I sat out there and I had so many conversations in my head. And I then remember I like walked inside. I said, like, we need to go on a drive. I need to process. And on that drive, something overcame me. I can't even tell you what it was, but something overcame me, and I knew that that day was the last day that I was going to have alcohol. And like I started crying, and I remember you were like, why, like, what's going on? And I'm like, I'm grieving this part of me that I know, I don't know why, but I know that it's gone. And from that day forward, well, I should say from that day till now, I have not had a sip of alcohol.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I'm really proud of myself. Really proud of myself.
I think it's important to note that, like, when we decide to stop, we've already had like a serious reduction in our lifestyle. Like maybe one on the weekend, maybe like a social thing. Like it was nothing crazy. But I remember leading up to coming to talk to you, like I just got home from a fly fishing trip at my client's cabin. And earlier that week, he had told me that he was going sober. And I remember I was just like, I have to do this. Like, kind of the same thing. I was like, I have to try this. And we kind of made a game plan of like having some non-alcoholic beers there. And I remember just going and getting to his cabin. And we were just so intentional about like not drinking. And like, we weren't always talking about drinking, but we just like, just discussing the opportunity to like better ourselves. And, you know, we're outside. It's a beautiful spring day, like in the one of the most beautiful parts of Oregon, and scenarios that call for having a nice, relaxing drink. And we both chose not to, and then empowered each other to like not do it. And it was a great experience. And like, you know, I feel like normally I would have like a drink to like loosen up my social edge or whatever. And we had such an authentic conversation about life, and that was definitely one of the most pivotal points in my life.
What would you say has been the hardest part of this journey thus far?
I think learning new ways to cope with stress and just the social part of it. Like, I was definitely a social drinker. Like, going to a restaurant, going to happy hour, meeting up at somebody's house, just like having a glass of wine, having a beer, having a cocktail, talking over the fire. And going into summertime was really hard because I feel like that's like the, you know, we're paddleboarding, we're floating, we're all the people are visiting, we're doing all the fun birthday parties, and choosing not to drink. In the concerts, like choosing not to drink was definitely hard, but it became empowering saying no. And then finding new ways to like deal with stress, working out more, cold tub, hot tub. What about for you? What would you say has been the hardest part about not drinking or stopping initially?
For me, definitely the social aspect of it. I definitely was someone that the second I knew I was going to a social gathering, or like I showed up, I got into a habit of the first thing I needed was something in my hand, an alcoholic beverage in my hand, that I knew that after I drank that first cup of whatever it was, like the party was going to start. And I really realized that I had some social anxieties. And like I found myself, well, like I don't want to go to the concert. I can't drink. Like there's everyone there is going to be drinking and I can't drink. And that sounded boring. And you know, birthday parties and girls trips, and I I had I had to gain tools quickly in order to like maintain sobriety.
Absolutely. What are some of the tools that you found work really well for you?
My first one is I cannot show up to a social gathering without some sort of like bubbly drink that I can like pour into a glass and kind of have in my hand and sip for those first 15 minutes. The second tool is that I have to get past my 15-minute window of craving an alcoholic beverage. And it comes and it goes. It feels so long, that time, but it's very quick. It's very, very quick. And once I get past that 15 minutes, I know I'm like smooth sailing for the rest of the night. So having my drink and um, knowing my hot spots and getting past those 15 minutes. Have you learned any tools?
I feel like I do those same exact things. I feel like we just kind of coded those tools together, and
Yeah.
like just the preparation, like the non-alcoholic beers were huge for me this summer, and honestly, they tasted great. And like,
yeah, they were good.
they were really like they've done a great job. Kind of diversifying the non-alcoholic brands and different options. So it's kind of fun to like play with it for like, the summer months of like, oh, let's try this. And when also, I enjoy that there's a lot of non-alcoholic options at restaurants. So I don't feel like I'm limited by where I can go. But
Yeah.
I think the preparation is huge. And that 15-minute thing was real.
Mm-hmm.
Like once we kind of identified that like there's kind of a time constraint to when you really want to drink.
Yeah.
And if you can like overcome that, I was like, all right, yeah, I'm good now.
Exactly. It's like, okay, we made it. What's been the best thing?
The mornings, like every morning being 100%, and not even questioning, do I feel off because I had a sip of alcohol last night, whatever. I think just that, the freshness, the alertness, all the things, and I thought I was gonna like have this huge transformation immediately, of like my energy doubled, like lose 100 pounds. I don't know, but I learned that like it was like steady and progressive, and that there are a lot of fun things that came along with it, of just the empowerment and just the freshness in the morning. What about for you?
Two things stick out right away. First one I would say is I do not have to ask myself, am I hungover when I wake up? Like that's the greatest thing ever. I wake up, roll over, and I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be a great day. Second would be it's empowering to say no. It weirdly, your brain, you feel like you have won a battle that you didn't really even know that there was a battle. But saying no, and it's not actually like like let's say someone offers you a drink. It's not you saying no, thank you. That's not where the empowerment comes from. It's at the end of the night, like getting into your car and knowing that you're driving home 100% sober, and like getting into your bed at night and knowing that you had a great time,
Right.
and you did not let alcohol control you. Alcohol controlled me for a very long time.
Yeah, and I think it's important to know that like when you're controlled by alcohol, like you don't even know it. Like it's just so part of your lifestyle and routine, and like just what's so normalized that like when you stop drinking alcohol, you kind of realize like how unnormal it is to put this substance in your body to change it and like alter it. And I remember going into college like not really drinking, and just thinking about, I didn't like alcohol when I first started, and I'm proud of you for not drinking, but I've definitely had a couple drinks since I decided to stop, and they're disgusting. Like I literally would have to train myself if I wanted to drink again to get over this bad taste.
Right. Yeah. No, guys, I used to love wine, like red wine, a big bold red wine. My thing. It makes me like it would make me so happy. And I can truly say the sound of a red wine does not sound good anymore. And that's like mind blowing for me to say. Yeah, like I can't put into words how crazy that is.
Yeah. It's crazy how fast you adapt away from alcohol once you stop.
Well, it's just habits. It all any vice is like when you are stressed, it's what is your vice? What do you turn to that like distracts you from the actual root of the problem? And like for me, alcohol was one of my main vices. Speaking of vices, what do you feel like? Do you feel like anything has replaced
Candy. For the first 3 months, candy. Oh my
Say
goodness.
it louder for the people in the back.
No, candy. I'll say it again. Listen,
Sugar
for sure. Yeah, I'd love to know like the science behind that, but I feel like, Friday night stuff my sort of get some like drinks was like Friday night I'm getting a candy bar.
Yes.
Like it was a weird
we
transition.
We definitely had to like stop by the corner store.
Absolutely.
And like be like, okay, what
Sweet treat.
Yes, what are you gonna like treat yourself to, and it was like our thing. Like we had to have it for a couple months.
Absolutely. What about for you? What's been your like replacement of?
I would definitely say it was sugar at first. But then now I just really like Poppy is probably my like go-to drink, and I drink they're not the cheapest things in the world, so sometimes I drink like 2 or 3 like
Dang.
on the weekends, if I'm like kind of wanting to.
That's where all my cherry limeade Poppy's been going. All right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna start hiding those.
yeah, but I would say just, and like kombucha and those kind of things have been I would say my vice.
Yeah,
But
non-water bubbles.
yeah,
Yeah, sparkling.
when like to be honest, I really should just be having water, but I'm like, no, that's too boring.
Yeah. Let's talk about the decision, like, kind of just to be the example for our kids. I think there's part of that of like leading a new charge and like just challenging, again, this normalized beverage.
Yeah, I would say that it was hard for me when our kids would come up to us and we'd have an alcoholic beverage and they'd like want to sip or like be acting like, about to take a sip and like, no, 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 no. That's mommy's drink. Well, can I have a sip? No. Like, why can't I have a sip? Well, because it's mommy's drink. And literally putting something into my body that I would not even let touch my children's lips. And I was like, what? It kind of like, I was like, wow, why do I have this standard for them? But then this is something that I so easily consume so often. And it really made me start questioning myself and my lifestyle and my health.
Yeah.
What about you? What examples, or how does it portray to your kids, would you say?
Just kind of going off of that, like, just what kind of standard are we setting? And I never try to be the parent that's like, you do this, but I'm doing that. And I'm like, I want them to see me and follow my actions, and like, as I'm teaching them and going about like my day, my life. So again, it just kind of was like a thing that, if we're not letting them do it, why should we be doing it? And just that leadership aspect has become more and more important as the kids have become more, mature. They're learning a lot, and they want to like imitate it. Like they want to do what we're doing.
Right.
And so if we can lead them towards just a better lifestyle living, then it was just a given. And I think that's something that, we strive as parents, that we'll keep doing in other ways and figuring out how to become better. But that was definitely the first thing that we had to drop off.
Yeah. And let me just say this. The worst hangover in the world is a parent hangover.
Absolutely.
Like
at 6, 7 a.m. Saturday morning.
Oh my gosh. Not any sip of anything was worth that like cry at 6 a.m. and you roll over and you're like, why?
Yeah.
Why did I do that?
Yeah. I tried alcohol twice since then. Since that like end of May. and one was like in August, and but close family was in town, and they had a couple beers, whatever. I tried one, and I was just like, I just don't like this. And it was interesting. The second time I tried it, it was a cocktail, and I was like, all right, this is tastes good, so like I can enjoy this. So I had one. I was just like, you know what, like it was like a guilt-free thing because like I feel like I had the tools, I had the strength, and I didn't want to like shame myself for trying it again. But I remember waking up like 4, 5 a.m. and just like rolling over, and like I'm just filling my head. I'm just like, oh no, this is the thing I do not miss. And honestly, like doing that helped me like stay strong on kind of the second half of part 2 of my sober journey, because I was just like, yeah, I don't want this. I don't need this. Like, yes, it tastes good, but the ramifications for me are just not worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. And being 30,
What? Hold up.
I'm not 30
Are you
yet.
coming at me right now for being 30?
But
31?
no, okay, I'm saying when you get close to 30 and you turn 30 and a year past 30, you really have to think about like what you put in your body, because like hangovers and all of that hits different. It's not, you can't bounce back
Yeah, for sure.
like in the college days. So like I feel like all of these things, I knew all these things, but I kept like being like, well, what, like whatever.
Justify it.
Yeah, but when you put it on paper, it's like, okay, it's clearly not the best choice for me.
Right.
So, and if I can't actually say no to it, like what, there's maybe a deeper rooted thing here.
And I think for me, like the hangover part, like there was a sleep at night. Like I would sleep great, quote unquote, like the first half of the night. But then, after like 3, 4 o'clock, like I was not getting productive sleep, and just adding to that hangover of like not feeling good, not sleeping well, not getting like rest. Like I'm big on all my sleep metrics, and just discovering like how to improve my sleep so I can be like more efficient and healthier. And once the sleep started to go, I was like, I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah. Sleep is the most important thing. What would you say, like sum up what a Friday or a Saturday night look like now for you without alcohol? Like, what do you do for fun?
You know what's so wild? Like, I lost the notion of like weekends. And so like it's kind of just like a whole week now. So it's like I just plan my week. So it's just like I think last Friday, we like worked in the gym with the kids, and like we're productive, and like went out to get ice cream, and like I don't know, we just do things. Like we're not just sitting around like relaxing. We're like doing things. So it's like I don't have to even think about having a drink because we're so active and intentional. And one thing I have to be wary about is working too much when it comes to that, because like when I was drinking, it was like, all right, have a drink, shut off work, not think about it. But without that kind of tool or vice, I have to be very conscious about how much I work, because my brain is just like operating at 100% and not being like shut down at all.
Yeah. I remember my aunt, she went sober, like maybe it's now 5 years or so, but I remember her telling me, I was very curious about it. And I remember her telling me that one of the hardest things is how long your day becomes without alcohol, because it really is that 4 or 5 o'clock hit, and it's now socially acceptable
to shut it down.
Yeah, to shut it down, to have that first glass of wine, and then one turns to two, two turns to three, and before you know it, it's ready for bed, and you get up and the next day and you try and get to 4 or 5 o'clock. Like,
Right.
But without that, it's a long day. You don't shut it off until you close your eyes, which is hard. It's really hard, especially like at first. You think you're going crazy because you don't know what to do with your brain for that long.
Extra period.
Yeah, you start like nosediving into like these different areas, and a lot of them are emotionally hard and emotionally challenging.
Yeah, it exposes deeper part of you.
100%.
Like there's some like it gives you more access to your body and brain. And like I've noticed that I don't even need as much sleep. So like I need like a good 6.5 hour stretch and I'm like good to go. So like
You be up like I swear you be up at like 4 a.m. sometimes. I'm like, what is going on? Go to sleep.
I'm just like ready to go. And like just the energy is just like hit. I'm like, all right, what are we gonna do? So like imagine like, you know, wake up at 6 before, now I'm up at 4. So that's like 2 more functional hours to like for my brain to think. And now you take the 4 p.m. to the 9 p.m. That's legit a whole like 7 hours of extra thinking and extra like creative time and business development and parenting development. So like my days, like you said, have gotten very, very long.
Yeah.
There are sometimes naps in there, which is nice. Just squeeze a little hour nap in these
I
longer
know.
days.
We've kind of been napping a little bit more.
We? we? I've taken one nap in the last 2 weeks. Till I got home, I was like, "What y'all been doing?" We just had a 3 hour nap. I said, "What?" Hey, I love
Okay.
you though.
I know. Well, it's like it's been so cold outside. I'm like everybody's going down, the lights are all off. I'm like, let me just close my eyes real quick.
Yeah. If you're talking to somebody who's curious about stopping drinking or wants a few steps, what would you give to them?
Hmm. I would say get out a piece of paper and write down all of the great things about alcohol and write down all of the terrible things about alcohol and look at your list. And if your terrible things outweigh your great things, I would say start digging a little bit into your soul and ask yourself like what would my life look like without alcohol? Or maybe it doesn't even have to be without it. Maybe it's just
Reduced.
reduced alcohol. And try it out. You know, I am a 0 to 100 all or nothing girl. So for me it was like I don't want to do the like I'm not going to drink unless like maybe one here or there. That's just not the second I have one, I know I'm going to like it's not just not it for me. So for me, it was like when I stopped, I knew I had to stop, or else I was going to go right back into my cycle of with alcohol. But you have to like figure out who you're different. Like you can do that dabble back and forth. You like to cruise a little bit more than me. I either like to be stopped or
Yeah. I don't love restriction. I don't love
that's true.
that's my kind of thing, but now it's not even a restriction thing. It's just like a lifestyle choice
Yeah.
because I have experienced both lifestyles now. I'm like, I favor this lifestyle a lot more because I can impact more people and help more people and have
Yeah.
more energy for life. So
Yeah.
for me, that's a no brainer.
Yeah. And I would also say too for someone who's maybe thinking about it, maybe you next time you go to the grocery store, instead of buying like a 6-pack of beer, try a 6-pack of non-alcoholic and just come home, like when you come home from work, try grabbing a non-alcoholic versus a beer and like just see what that does to you, and like kind of you can play around with it a little bit.
Absolutely. I think it's important to note that you got to find some support as you transition.
Yeah.
I think having a community base or a partner or somebody that like you can be vulnerable and talk to it about, because it's going to like be different. And anytime change is hard. So when you make something, a small change that ends up being a huge benefit to your life, like you should talk about it. You should share it. You should really think about it, because it is going to be different and it is going to be hard and it's going to be challenging, but we can do hard things, and
Mm-hmm.
overcoming those hard things just adds so much more value to our life, and it makes us so much stronger mentally and like internally, and like you feel like you can overcome things a lot easier after you become stronger, like by reducing or stop drinking alcohol.
Yeah. 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 Having like us doing it together has been huge. I don't think that I can't say this 100%, but it would have been a lot harder for me to do these last 7 months alone. So I'm thankful.
7 months? Damn, time is flying.
I know. I thought I like the first month took forever. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm only 14 days sober.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I've had to say no to so much alcohol.
Yeah.
And now I would say getting past the first month was the hardest for me. And each month it got a little bit.
Yeah. I think it gets fun, like, once you start saying no, because everything you experience feels like a new experience. And when we're going to, like, concerts, weddings, camping trips, date nights, we did all these things and they felt so new because there's no alcohol.
Yeah, it almost kind of better because first of all, you remember everything. And second of all, you find this like childlike fun. It's so weird. I thought I was going to be so boring without alcohol. And like I still love to tear up a dance floor being completely sober. It might look a little funny, but it probably looked even more funny when I was under the influence, to be honest.
Nah, you're so cute.
But oh, thanks. But I mean, yeah, I'm still bopping around at the concerts and on the dance floor and
Big bopper.
big bopper. I still got my little dance moves with my fists, hands in the air.
Can we see? We got video now. Can you show us a little?
I get a little like bounce like this. My girl Helena, me and Helena, we have the same little like, it's like then it's about to be a great night when the hands go in the air.
Oh, somebody quote that. Make that a GIF. What did you say earlier? A GIF. All right, y'all. This wraps up our health and wellness episode about sobriety. I would challenge everybody to try it out. Give it 31 days, 60 days, whatever it may be, just to challenge your lifestyle and see if you can make a change to find a way to get better.
Yeah.
Because something very simple with the right tools, the right dedication, the right community to help make your life and those around you better.
Yeah. And we're always here. If you guys have questions or you want someone like accountability partner or anything, like reach out to us. We enjoy it. We want to help wherever we can. And it's a journey. We're still like, it's a never ending journey. And it's fun doing it with other people.
Absolutely. And if you are still drinking, no shame, do your thing.
Oh yeah, we still. And also, don't think that you can't drink around us.
Yeah.
Like I like 100%. I love everybody having a good time. Don't ever be hiding your beer from me, please. I'd be very upset.
No beer hiding for Hannah.
Yes.
All right, y'all. We out.
Peace.